वेरी गुड इवनिंग स्टूडेंट्स। ये जो वीडियो है इसमें मैं बताऊंगा कि एग्जामिनर्स जब भी ऑस्टियोलॉजिक पार्ट का वाइवा ले रहे हैं, जैसे कि बोन्स का वाइवा ले रहे हैं, चाहे बोन्स हेड एंड नेक की हो, स्कल हो, सर्वाइकल वर्टिब्री हो, अपर लिम की बोन्स हो, लोअर लिम्स की, या वर्टिब्रल कॉलम या रिब्स हो, दे आस्क द क्वेश्चन टू द स्टूडेंट कि वो उनकी कैपेबिलिटी को, उनके नॉलेज को चेक करें। और उसके लिए बहुत सारे एग्ज़ामिनर बिल्कुल सिंपल क्वेश्चन से स्टार्ट करते हुए आगे की तरफ और डिफ़िकल्ट क्वेश्चन को जाते हैं। तो हम वो एग्ज़ामिनर की जो साइकोलॉजी है उसको समझते हुए और उनका जो क्वेश्चन पूछने का पैटर्न होता है एग्ज़ामिनेशन में, आज हम उसको समझेंगे। और मैं बताऊंगा कि आपको कोई भी बोन, चाहे वो किसी भी रीजन की हो, उसको कितनी हेडिंग्स के अंदर आपको एक बोन को पढ़ना चाहिए, जिससे कि आप एग्ज़ामिनर द्वारा क्वेश्चन, कोई भी जो क्वेश्चन पूछा जाए उसको मिस ना कर पाएँ। फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल, सबसे पहले अगर वो कोई भी बोन उठाने को आपसे कहते हैं और पूछते हैं कि ये क्या है, इस बोन का क्या नाम है, आप हंसेंगे कि ये कैसा क्वेश्चन है। जब हम एग्ज़ामिनेशन में देने जाते हैं तो हमें तो पता ही होता है कि ये ह्यूमरस है, ये टीबिया है, या ये वर्टिब्रा है, लाइक दैट। बट दिस इज़ नॉट ऑलवेज करेक्ट। In my long career of as an examiner, I have observed that students sometimes even don't tell the correct identification of bone. For example, वो टीबिया को ह्यूमरस बोल सकते हैं, फीमर को वो अल्ना बोल सकते हैं, इतनी बड़ी मिस्टेक भी कर सकते हैं। उससे जैसे ही एग्ज़ामिनर को ये पहले क्वेश्चन में ही नेगेटिव आंसर मिलेगा तो वो एग्जामिनी मीन्स स्टूडेंट का लेवल उसको पता लग जाएगा, तुरंत ही पता लग जाएगा। वो एक दो क्वेश्चन और इधर उधर दूसरी बोनों से पूछेगा, आइडेंटिफिकेशन से ही शुरू करेगा कि ये वर्टिब्रा देखिए, ये कौन सी वर्टिब्री है, ओके, वर्टिब्री है भी कि नहीं है, अगर है तो वो कहाँ की है, सर्वाइकल की है, थोरेसिक की है, या लंबर की है। और अगर आप उस क्वेश्चन का भी उत्तर नहीं दे पाए तो फिर देन ही विल नॉट वेस्ट हिज टाइम इन द वाइवा ऑन द ऑस्टियोलॉजी, ही विल इमीडिएटली पास टू सम अदर सेक्शन और विल आस्क द स्टूडेंट टू गो टू द नेक्स्ट टेबल, ओके, गो टू। सो सबसे पहला पॉइंट जो एग्जामिनर पूछ सकता है वो है आइडेंटिफिकेशन। लेट मी राइट इट हियर, द पॉइंट विच दे आस्क, आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ द बोन, फिकेशन ऑफ बोन, ओके। सो ये पहला पॉइंट पूछ सकते हैं। वंस यू हैव आइडेंटिफाइड, एंड जरूरी नहीं कि सबसे पूछें, ओके, दे मे जज बाय सीइंग ऑफ द स्टूडेंट फेस दैट हाउ मच ही नोज, ओके, इवन बाय सीइंग फेस एन एक्सपीरियंस टीचर कैन फाइंड इट आउट। तो वो आपको बोलेगा कभी कि आप ये बोन उठा लो, से फॉर एग्जाम्पल क्लेविकल उठा लो, से फॉर एग्जाम्पल स्केपुला उठा लो, और जैसे ही आपने क्लेविकल या स्केपुला उठाया अपने हाथ में तो वो कहेगा कि सेकंड क्वेश्चन जो आएगा उसके पास से तो वो होगा साइड डिटर्मिनेशन, कि बताओ ये बोन राइट साइड की है या लेफ्ट साइड की है उसका। So this is very important question, and this Viva begins usually with this question, side determination, okay, side determination. Then you have to told about its side, whether it belongs to right side or to that of the left side. Why this is an important question also, और ये बार बार पूछा जाता है, हर एक स्टूडेंट से पूछा जाता है कि जब तक आपको उसका राइट साइड को है या लेफ़्ट साइड की है ये बोन नहीं पता होगा, तब उसका आपको अटैचमेंट, उसकी बॉर्डर, सरफेस सब गलत हो जाएगा, सब गलत। इसलिए अगर साइड डिटर्मिनेशन पता है उस बोन का तो ही वो आगे वाइवा के लिए बढ़ेगा, अदरवाइज़ नहीं बढ़ेगा। बिकॉज उस वक्त अगर आपने गलत साइड बता दी है तो पोस्टियर सरफेस वेंट्रल हो जाएगी, वेंट्रल सरफेस पोस्टियर हो जाएगी, मीडियल बॉर्डर ऑफ बोन के जो भी अटैचमेंट हैं वो आप उल्टे बताओगे, लैटरल। दैट्स वाई दिस क्वेश्चन इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सो the side determination is the first very important exercise which you should learn for each and every bone. And then third question, अगर आपने साइड डिटर्मिनेशन बता दिया तो वो पूछ सकता है कि आपने सही साइड किस बेसिस पे डिटरमाइन किया कि how could you identify that it is the clavicle of right side, and correctly it is of right side, but what were your points to determine the side? And then if he is satisfied, then he will go to the anatomical position of that bone. जब भी आप एनाटॉमिकल पोजीशन बता रहे हो तब उस वक्त आपको उसे उसी हाथ में पकड़ना चाहिए. साइड से फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू आर होल्डिंग द स्केपुला और saying the side of the scapula, then you should hold the scapula if it is of right side on right hand, and if it is of the left side, then you should hold it into the left hand. Okay, so it will become easier for you to see the relations, origin, insertion, that you in your mind you will be able to judge, okay, or visualize that if it is anterior surface on left side, which muscles should take origin. Okay, and if you will hold it into the wrong hand, though you are saying its side correctly, even then you will make lot of mistake. Okay, say for example this is the clavicle of left side, I should hold it into the left side, but if I am holding the clavicle of left side into the right side, then all those directions of muscle fibers, ligament, they will go wrong, okay, in your mind when you are thinking and replying. So always keep the bone on the side to which it belongs. Okay, so anatomical position is also very important. Okay, anatomical. So second important point after side determination is the anatomical position, and I have told you that why you should keep it in anatomical position on the same side, okay, to which it belongs. Okay, to it belongs. Then the next question which usually the examiner asks once you have identified the side, okay, properly and hold the bone into the, then he can say that name the bones which articulates with this bone. That means what are the joint which this bone is making. Then you can say for this is the humerus at upper end with the glenoid cavity of the scapula to form shoulder joint. At the lower end it is articulating with the capitulum, the radius head articulating with the capitulum, and the coronoid the radial this ulnar notch of the is articulating with the trochlea here. So these two bones, that is radius and ulna, articulates with the lower end of the humerus to form the elbow joint, So he will come to know that at least you know which are the other bones to which this bone is articulating. So the fourth point he may ask or he may not ask. So because it is not a very essential question, but usually the examiners who have the experience, they keep on increasing or keep on putting the question in this order which I am telling you, okay, which I am telling you. Their question becomes harder and harder, okay, and meanwhile they keep on judging you whether you know properly or not. Okay, तो ये जो सीरियल ऑर्डर मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ उसी ऑर्डर के अंदर आप हर बोन को पढ़ें. ओके, हर बोन के क्वेश्चन के लिए अपने आप को तैयार करें. फिर वो एग्जामिनर आपसे बोनी फीचर्स पूछ सकता है. ओके, ज़रूरी नहीं कि पूछे पर यूजली पूछी जाती है. बोनी फीचर मीन्स इस बोन की क्या क्या प्रोसेस हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल for scapula, this is spinous, this is acromion, this is coracoid process है. उसमें ridges हैं, कौन कौन सी ridges हैं, उनका नाम क्या है. For example, this is the medial supracondylar ridge, this is lateral supracondylar ridge, this is the ridge of the bicipital groove. Okay, lateral lip or medial lip of the bicipital groove. He may ask about the tubercles, the lesser tubercle and the greater tubercle. Then he may ask you about the surfaces. the costal surface or the dorsal surface of the bone. Okay, in this way there may be many. Say for example, there may be question on to the borders of the long bones and the surfaces of the long bones, from where a border is starting and where a border is ending. That is the another bony features that will come in the bony features. And then soon he can also ask you the attachment of muscles, origin and insertion of muscles. Okay, he can ask you from where to where a muscle is extending between its origin to the insertion. So in this way you should prepare. For example, he may ask what is the muscle which is attached in the infraspinatus fossa or into the costal surface of the scapula, or he may ask which muscle is attached onto the anterior surface of the clavicle. Okay, anterior surface of clavicle in its medial two-third, like that he can ask the attachment. And then if you are replying well, then he is impressed and he may ask you a little tougher question onto the attachment of ligament. How many ligaments are attached to the coracoid process? That may be his question. Okay, then you have to tell the conoid and trapezoid part and the coracoacromial ligament. Okay, the coracoclavicular and coracoacromial ligament, like that. So attachment of muscle and the ligaments. Okay, that he may ask. So this is the next step in which you should learn each and every bone. Okay, every bone. Then he can ask, if he is very much happy with you, okay, then he may ask you to tell the relations of the blood vessels. Okay, that is artery and the vein and the nerves. Okay, and especially the nerves which are directly in contact with that bone. Okay, directly in contact. For example, most of the bones which are usually asked is the humerus. They will ask you the nerves and vessels in relation to that of the humerus, or second bone which is important is the mandible, where they ask you how many nerves and vessels they are directly lying onto the bone. For example, here the axillary nerve, posterior circumflex, humeral artery or anterior circumflex, and then here is the radial nerve in the radial groove and the profunda brachii artery here on the posterior surface of the medial epicondyle, the ulnar nerve, and here the in front of the lateral epicondyle, the radial nerve. Okay, so many bones are there which are in direct contact, and their importance of asking this is that during the fracture of this bone, this nerve they get usually involved or injured. For example, if there is a fracture of the shaft of the humerus, the radial nerve is going to be injured. Okay, right. So then he may come to the next level of the question, what is the applied importance of that particular bone, applied importance of that bone. And then you have to ask a particular question. He may ask about the applied importance. That means he may if you are dealing with the clavicle, he may ask you which is the common site of the fracture of the clavicle and why it is. Okay, and what it will lead. Okay, what will happen to the distal fragment and what will happen, lateral fragment, and what will happen to the medial fragment of the clavicle if the fracture is there. Okay, so this kind of the question may be there on bone onto the applied importance. And lastly, what I can think of it as question on ossification of the bone. If you are a bright student, ultimately your viva on that particular bone may end with that of the ossification. Okay, for he may directly ask you which is the growing end of this bone, long bone. Say for example humerus, which is the growing end of this bone, and then you can say that it is the upper end because the secondary center for upper end appears in the first year of postnatal life after birth, and then it unites with the shaft at the 20 years of age, while that of the lower end, the secondary center are multiple and they appear, okay, quite later, that means around 5th year of age, okay, and then they unite first, that means around 17 or 8. Now naturally the upper end is growing end, and for that I will suggest you that for important bones, in your notebook you can draw a rough diagram, just a rough diagram for the attachment. Say for a rough diagram for humerus, say for this is the head of the humerus, the greater trochanter and the medial epicondyle and lateral epicondyle, that roughly you can write. And for head you can write the first ear, that is secondary center, here the primary center, it is at the 8th week of intrauterine life, like you can say here the first year of the age of a say baby, okay, infant. And then here the lower end, various centers are there, and you can write 5th year, 7th year or 9th year, like that. And then you can draw a line here like that, the diaphysis and epiphysis. So this will indicate the epiphyseal plate, and here you can just make a bracket like that, that the union between the diaphysis and epiphysis will be in the 20th year of life, and here you can say it is 17th year of life. So this small map will help you to identify the ossification quickly, very quickly, and then you can write here it is the growing end, okay. So you can also write in the same map the growing end. That way I will say you that each and every bone for the Viva on the osteology or the bones, you have to you have to learn in this following sequence, okay? Identification, site determination, anatomical position, articulation, bony features, attachment of muscles and ligament, blood vessels and nerve relation directly with the bone, and the applied importance, and lastly the ossification. And if you will run in this, learn each and every bone of the body in this, under these titles, you are not going to make any mistakes, okay? Thank you very much for watching this short video on how to learn or how to prepare yourself for any bone in the Viva, okay? Thank you.